Good evening. Welcome to Around the World with Dee and Friends. Tonight I will be joined by Harshmed. We will be talking about the Palestinian family in the West Bank. Their home was surrounded. We'll be discussing Mike Huckabee and some other topics. Harsh should be joining me soon. And right now I'm going to be sharing the show around, let everybody know that we're live. Build up the audience here. That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Sharing the show around, letting everybody know we're live. Okay, invite. Just inviting people to let them know we're live. Okay, sending the messenger out there and let me share in some groups. So Evelyn is here. Glad we'll be discussing the West Bank today. Yes, it's that's a topic we really need to talk about, and that's something I know is not in the regular news, and it's been going on for years, and nobody stops it. It's infuriating. We constantly ask, where is the world? Where is the world to stop all this? It's like nowhere in sight. And I was thinking about that. The stuff that goes on in the West Bank, what um, the Zionist regime does in the West Bank, if those actions were being done to Israelis, it'd be all over the media. But since the evil is being perpetrated on Palestinians, the media doesn't seem to have any concern. It's infuriating, and then you hear them talking about a Palestinian state. Yes, but you have to stop Israel from what it's doing, and they're telling you right in your face. They think that by building settlements in the West Bank, that somehow that's going to prevent a Palestinian state. No, it's not. It shouldn't. Basically, you're going to have to move out. You knew it was illegal when you moved in there. But then again, whether something's legal or not, it doesn't matter to them. But there has to be enforcement. Enforcement of this so-called, international law. Because the problem, as we've been witnessing, it seems to apply to some, but not to others. And that is it's just so wrong. How can you have international law that applies to some and not to others? It makes absolutely no sense. So that's their latest. It's horrible because they think that if they, uh, you know, ethnically cleanse the West Bank, commit a genocide on the West Bank, that that's going to be their land. And I'm like, no, it's not. That land is not yours. I mean, it's Palestinian land. And it just seems that, the Zionist regime doesn't want to acknowledge that. They just have it in their mind what they want, their greater Israel, and the hell with everybody else. And we say, where is the world to stand by the Palestinians? It's heart-wrenching what they've been going through for so long. And it's like, where is the world with all this illegal action? And then, if one thing happens where Israelis are concerned, all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, it's big news. And it's like, oh no, oh no. It really is maddening. It really is. You could just go, well, you steal somebody's land, but then again, yeah, we look at that all over the world. Britain's history, Europe's history of just going over to places and thinking they can control it. They'll occupy it, or they'll just wipe out the people. And we see the U.S. and everywhere else. It's just so horrific. Okay, and right now I'm gonna take us to this article here. And I just want to share one more thing that I wasn't thinking about. Here we go. Okay. Let me just share this again. If I share this too. Yes, I did. Okay. Okay. And this is the Times of Israel, and dated 10 August 2026. Settlers, which are also known as thugs, Israeli thugs, surround Palestinian families' West Bank home in ongoing days-long siege. Homeowner tells the Times of Israel settlers built makeshift structure in front of house on Sunday, blocking entry and exit. Soldiers came to pray with group and left without removing them. I mean, this is terrible. And there's a picture here that says, settlers outside the home of Yosef Hassan in the West Bank village of Kusra, south of Nablus, August 10th, 2026. Settlers have been surrounding the home of a Palestinian family on the outskirts of the village of Kusra, south of Nablus, preventing the family from entering or leaving since Sunday, residents said. The family said Tuesday it was trapped in its home for a third day as settlers blocked the entrance to their house. Joseph Hassan, the homeowner who lives there with his wife and their two young daughters, aged 2 and 4, told the Times of Israel by phone on Monday that settlers erected a makeshift structure in front of the entrance to his home a day earlier and had since prevented anyone from entering or leaving him trapped inside. He said they also cut the electricity lines. On Tuesday, he said the family was running out of food today and that his 2-year-old daughter needed to see a doctor. Haaretz reported Monday that settlers had blocked journalists from reaching the area, while overnight, soldiers were filmed preventing a Palestinian ambulance carrying a foreign journalist from approaching the family's home. The IDF told the Times of Israel on Wednesday that the incident from the previous day was being investigated by the commanders. Disciplinary action will be taken in accordance with the findings, the IDF added. Video footage showed settlers gathered in the structure near the house. In another clip, they could be seen attempting to open one of the gates to the yard. Hassan said he has lived in the house for 5 years. Settlers began coming to the property and harassing the family around 7 months ago, he said. But the situation escalated over the past 2 days when they blocked the access routes to the home. He added that he was trying to find ways to get his wife and daughters out of the house because of the danger he said the settlers posed to them. Soldiers were filmed Sunday arriving at the structure erected by the settlers and praying with them. According to Hassan, they later left without removing the settlers. Doron Menard of the group Looking the Occupation in the Eye, who was at the scene Monday morning, said in a statement that the family was trapped in their home with a violent and armed settler militia threatening them, with the aim of pressuring them to abandon the house. Last month, settlers surrounded a home in the nearby village of Jalud for more than 2 weeks, after which the family living there fled and settlers took over the property. Settlers remained in the Jalud home to this day, and its owners had been unable to return. More than 2,200 settlers have been displaced this year due to settler violence or access restrictions, while hundreds more have been displaced due to home demolitions by Israeli authorities. Stephanie Durajek, spokesman for the United Nations Secretary General, citing the UN's Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OSHA, said in June. Settler violence has mounted in recent years, with near daily, sometimes deadly attacks taking place throughout the West Bank, but few suspects arrested and charged. Critics accuse the government of condoning or even encouraging the attacks. The number of serious incidents of nationalistic crimes committed by extremist Jewish settlers, thugs basically, in the West Bank surged by 63% during the first half of this year compared to the same period last year, from 405 attacks to 660 attacks in the corresponding periods, the public broadcaster reported Monday, citing security establishment figures. Such offenses are classified by Israeli security bodies as terrorism. Palestinian casualties from settler violence climbed sharply as well, with 140 Palestinians wounded and 6 killed during the first half of the year, compared with 82 wounded and none killed during the same period last year. And this was written by Stav Levatan. Well, he basically says he contributed to the report, basically. And let me see up here. It says, who wrote the article? It's written by Nurit Yohanan. And you think for days they were surrounding the house. And what, the government acted ignorant of the whole thing? Like they didn't know? It's infuriating. It really is. And, there's more and more stories. I mean, we know what's been going on in the West Bank. And if they to act like, oh, it's against the law, well, where have you been? This has been going on. And that's also a responsibility of Mike Huckabee. He doesn't do anything. There's different groups there, Jewish groups, activists coming from the U.S. And it's coordinated with the rabbi, and they go out to assist farmers with the olive harvest and try to provide protection to the farmers and their families. And there was a group that several people were told that their passports or their visas were being blocked. Um, and meanwhile, you have the harvest, another harvest coming up. And this was something done by Israel, Ben Gavir, his group. And this basically is wrong. Just because Ben Gavir doesn't agree with it, and he is the major problem over in Israel, one of the major problems. So this is gonna be an issue that it's gonna be ongoing because this is something they've done for years. Jewish activists have gone over there and providing safety for Palestinian farmers. So there are a lot of Jewish people that do not agree with what the Israeli government is doing, and they shouldn't have their rights being taken away because they don't agree with the stance of the Israeli government. Israel is basically saying they're an authoritarian government. You either agree with us or, we're going to block your passport, block your visa. And for the thugs that go over to assist Ben Gavir, oh, there's no problem with that. But that's an issue that, when it comes to Americans, U.S. citizens, that's Mike Huckabee's territory. He's done nothing